Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky is defending new legislation that removes the independence of two key anti-corruption agencies, sparking protests and international backlash. The law puts the National Anti-Corruption Bureau and the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office under the President-appointed Prosecutor General. Critics warn it could allow political interference and weaken the fight against graft. The EU called the move a serious step back, saying it threatens Ukraine's path to membership. Berlin also said it hampers crucial reforms. Kyiv saw its largest protest since Russia's 2022 invasion, as demonstrators demanded the law be repealed. Zelensky maintains the changes are needed during wartime but promised to address public concerns. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Martin Tsai-Reitz. He's a foreign affairs expert. Thank you, Martin, for staying with us. Now the EU has called this legislative a serious step back for Ukraine's path to membership. Now, how significant is this setback in terms of Ukraine's aspiration for EU integration?
The new policies are going to affect the credibility of the institutionality and differentiation and separation of powers, and also the transparency of the processes in Ukraine. One of the major changes in these policies are that all of the officials in the government are no longer required to expose their assets, something that was crucial to battle against corruption and brave in Ukraine, which is very concerning because right now we're seeing like a step backwards in this process of fighting corruption and to facilitate following where the assets of public servants come from. And basically the European Union is very concerned about these changes, and this can also be a threat to the democracy in Ukraine and to the transparency of the decisions in a political level in Ukraine.
And Martin, now Ukraine saw its largest protests since Russia's 2022 invasion. There's clear domestic opposition to this law. How do you assess the balance between wartime necessity and maintaining democratic integrity within Ukraine's political reforms?
I think this is not the right timing for doing any type of change in the law, because right now Ukraine is in the middle of a very tragic war with Russia, and the least thing that Ukrainians need is to be divided. They need to be united to fight against their enemy and their threat. However, Zelensky, in my opinion, has been making a huge mistake in changing these laws, which instead of protecting the integrity of the system and the rule of law, are making this more suspicious, since now it's going to be very difficult to track if someone has been getting bribes or being corrupted by tracking their assets. And this is going to only benefit the current government. I don't know what Zelensky is thinking about. This is going to affect his image as a leader and the transparency. Basically, Ukraine has been supported by the West, by the US and by the European Union, because it's like the island of freedom and democracy. That's the reason why the West is supporting Ukraine. It's a democratic and country, and it's a transparent country, but now it is suspicious to not continue to be this. So yeah, it's critical for the European Union.
Thank you very much.